Now, the senator cavalierly tosses aside people like my family and my grandparents. This is personal to me. You are stabbing race relations in the heart with this piece of legislation.
And as long as we're humans and we make mistakes, we don't need to be in the business killing people.
One day, it'll all get settled, I think, the right way. It might take decades, but there's a job to be done if we have to keep fighting.
I am a child of this land, searching for freedom.
Well, I don't know what I'll find, but justice will be mine, fighting for freedom, fighting for freedom.
Devin is my granddaughter, and she's lived with me most of her life. Devin has also been more like my child than a grandchild.
I've always known that my Nana was a lesbian, always. Both of them. So as a kid, it wasn't really a big thing because it was just, she's my Nana, that's the way it is. It's always been that way.
I just know that, for me, it's a sense of obligation and, the things that you do to make sure a child's okay. And she's made the decision that she feels like this is where she wants to be too, for her welfare and her benefit. SB 959 was a bill designed to ban gays and lesbians and heterosexual cohabitating couples in a sexual relationship from being foster or adoptive parents. I would not be able to adopt her if the bill passed the way it stands.
Which would take precedence? Her being lesbian or her being my biological grandmother.
If we were separated, we would be devastated.
It's like she's my Nana, she's taken care of me like my whole life. How dare you tell me she can't take care of me now?
I just didn't know how I could take one more slap at my humanity. 50 years on this earth, and I still have to prove to people that I deserve the same rights that they have.
Hi, girls. I'm a registered nurse with the County Health Department, and we're going to talk about...
The health department comes on campus, and they have a very open discussion. She explains everything to them. They can ask questions. The whole intent, it's a required component in our program in the state of Florida so that hopefully we don't have a second pregnancy.
I got pregnant whenever I just turned 16. And I had Rebecca when I was about to turn 17.
I got pregnant at the age of 17, and I had my baby when I was 18.
I had Jonathan when I was 14 years old.
So when did you get pregnant?
When I was 13.
Did you guys know about all these forms of contraception?
No.
No. I wish I would have learned it sooner.
I think they should start teaching sex education in about 6th grade.
The school-to-prison pipeline is a reflection of America's current fixation with punishing children rather than educating them. And so instead of a school to college, it's a school to incarceration, to punishment, to prison.
Courtney was an A and B average student until she started having problems with the school system here.
When I first received my first in-school suspension, I was 14 years old. You don't receive regular lessons like lessons would be when a teacher's in front of you teaching you. It's just you in a box to yourself, writing all day. You can't stop writing.
She had already started talking about just completely dropping out of school.
Coming from an AB student to an F student to failing in the 9th grade, it has really put a huge bond on me because I really want to pass so I can get on out of school so I can achieve my goals in life that I have planned for myself.
Nancy was beautiful, and she was beautiful from the inside out. The day she died, she shouldn't have. She wasn't supposed to be there. She was raped one time. The man handcuffed her to the sink in the bathroom, told her he was giving himself time to get away, When she turned her back, he shot her in the back of the head and he left. She didn't know. The part that I had in saving her killer's life, saving him from death row, her real killer, it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I went to see him. I sat across a table from him. I begged him to take a plea bargain to save his life. I honored my daughter by saving a life, not taking a life. Even the guilty ones, we don't have the right to kill them.
On August the 20th, an article broke from the Dallas Morning News that basically said that Councilman Tim O'Hare was blaming all of the problems on illegal immigrants. He said that the property taxes were down, he said that the schools were really bad, he said that the crime rate was really up, and that there was no place for any kind of quality shopping here because of all of these undesirables. Now they're saying that, all of these undocumented people, they take jobs away from people. Our unemployment rate is 4%. Whose jobs are they taking?
Ordinance 2903 says that apartment owners and landlords are required to gather documentation from everyone who wants to rent an apartment that those individuals are here in this country legally and are legal residents.
Vote against the ordinance!
I'm receiving phone calls from people telling me to go back to Mexico.
Immigration reform!
I mean, it's not even my country. This is my country.
We need reform! USA, all the way! God!
Una nación, un idioma, un pueblo, no dos.
God bless America!
The first time that I voted, I was 21 years old. It made me so excited to vote. Just the rights to be able to vote is important to me because I knew what my forefathers went through.
But now to say you've been voting for 30 years and now we're going to say you can't vote because you don't have a photo ID, and this is what we're doing particularly to elderly people.
I went to the DMV and I tried to get my picture ID. After getting up to the front, she was rushing me and she told me, well, you don't have this and you got to get, she gave me a long list of paper with what I had to go get. I wrote to get my marriage license. I wrote to get my divorce papers, and I couldn't get none of this because I didn't have no money like that. I was just so devastated because I didn't know what to do. Oh, I came home and I cried. I was so angry. I'm a citizen. I was born here. Why are you making it so difficult? For me, a person who's born here, had voted before, why are you making it so difficult for me?
On our third date, I came here and I was walking up the steps and I thought to myself, I'm home. He doesn't know it yet, but I'm home.
After 28 and a half years, we still just want to be together.
Inheritance rights, rights to pensions, rights to health plans, visitation in hospital rooms, going in an ambulance to the hospital, not being separated at the time of a nursing home because we have a relationship. You certainly don't want to end your days separated from one another.
Privacy is fundamental to the human experience. It's necessary for democracy. I think it's necessary for liberty. And people often say, if I'm not doing anything wrong and I have nothing to hide, why should I care? You care because you're a person. It's about having control of our own life. We do nothing wrong when we sing in the shower or write a love letter and then burn it. You're on the phone with a friend and you say something about politics or the president or something, and then one of you says, God, I hope the NSA wasn't listening, and you laugh because it's funny. But your conversation changes. Because in the back of your mind, you're not sure. And that's what happens. If we're observed in all things, we become different people. We lose our freedom, we lose our creativity, we lose our liberty. A lot of people talk about the balance between privacy and security. That we have to give up some privacy to get more security. That's just not true. It's not a balance. You don't give up privacy and get security. You give up privacy and you lose security.
My family moved to California 3 years after the fall of communism, and we moved here from Poland. Coming from that background and coming from Poland, I think, it motivates me to really make sure that this country is as free as it can be.
We have to keep going. We have to keep telling them this because eventually there's going to be a vote on the floor. Whether it's a frustrating day or whether it's a day like today where you end on a high note, any day that you pump a little lifeblood through that Constitution is a good day. It means that we push harder in our direction. It means that we make sure that they know where we stand. If we're going to make sure that our Constitution is alive for our children and our grandchildren, then we need to make sure that we participate in this government. That we go down and we hold our signs and we yell. Believe me, they hear you. They do.